Do you remember Proptown Moonshot? It was a good track. It was enjoyable. It was kind of... There was a tough little power loop section, but it was pretty good. So good, in fact, that DCL have thought to put it in to this week's team trials. Welcome in, Proptown Moonshot, HolyBro, AULINE. Let's get some of this. I really used to enjoy this track. It was one that I could always get very close to top in the leaderboards on. Certainly on PlayStation, not so much on PC. But it was great fun. So we start things off here. Keep yourself low. Keep low down. Don't hit this like I usually do. That's the bane of my existence, coming off here like super fast. Keep low. You got to keep low through here and watch that lamppost as well. They can catch you out, but you'll get to learn where they are. You kind of pick up a line. I normally go to the right of this, lines you up nicely with the gate, and then you can cut those real tight and float back in over here, really tighten that up. So to go over that kind of a little bit more slowly, there's a lot going on, but it's kind of simple really. You're coming through here. You don't have to pre-turn necessarily out of that gate because there's a little bit of a gap. Just beware of this signpost here and the tree here. If you overcook it, you could well butt bounce the tree, or if you're too low, you could catch yourself on that no parking sign. But just remember, there are two gates here. There's this one, which we just bumped into, and then there's this second one. So if you can kind of get yourself underneath the tree, that's normally what I aim for. I don't always manage it, but that'll take you nicely to the side of this gate. Where are we? Over this way. Yeah, so you're coming under the tree, takes you to the left of that, and it lets you kind of just turn your way around it. I used to see a lot of people certainly on PlayStation anyway, come over the top and then proper like split S their way through. That's great, but it doesn't really let you carry an awful lot of speed through. Because what will happen is, obviously, in order to do that split S properly, you've got to kind of come off the throttle, lest you smash into the ground at 100 miles an hour. And that kind of loses you time. So if you're minimizing the time that you're off the throttle and you're not drifting to drop, I mean, that's an exaggerated example of it, but that's kind of what I'm getting at. If all you're doing is kind of popping off the throttle to spin yourself round and keep yourself flat, that's less of a loss than the kind of split S maneuver. You can, of course, try the rainbow flip. Again, you kind of come off the throttle just a little bit, not too much. It's really about minimizing off-throttle time with this and then punching your way through. This is pretty simple. Keep it low to clip that one, and then you want to kind of just diagonal your way over the top of that. Well, kind of diagonal your way through. So you want to come in at the bottom, follow the racing line, and then just watch for that top corner there. As you come over, what I like to do is, you can see as you're coming out, pull back far enough that you can see the tops and the corners of things, because it's kind of hard to explain. So let's try at full speed, because I find it's a little bit easier to get to grips with at full speed. How would I normally fly this? I'm kind of coming up through here, keeping watch for everything. Yeah. So you're just... It takes a few attempts. I'll tell you that for free. It takes a few attempts, but you've just got to know how much to pull back on the stick, really, here. It is one big move. I used to do it with very high camera tilt, and that made things very easy, because, you know, you could just kind of look where you were going almost. Flying at 48 is a little more difficult, because your camera's not really high enough that you can spot things. But what you're looking to do is literally power loop your way over the top and then come in between the building and the cone the marker there. It's a tiny, tiny little gap. Don't follow the racing line, which kind of has you come all the way kind of back out over here and then back through and whatever. Like, minimize the amount of moves that you're doing. If you can just do it in one big swooping loop, that'll be an awful lot faster. I have seen some people, I think Brav, kind of rainbow flips his way over the top, which is kind of cool. It's a good way for kind of being able to spot your exit. I don't know whether I'd rather go left or right. I'd probably go left personally. Yeah. But it's all about giving yourself enough height that you've got room for error if you're not feeling too confident. But also being at an angle that you can kind of see as much as possible. I've flown this track so many times now that I feel very comfortable with just the kind of the loop. And you can cut a little bit of time out as well sometimes by just kind of really cutting it close to the roof and things like that. So trial and error, just repetition. I know it's not the most helpful advice I can give, but certainly if you're not feeling too comfortable, try the rainbow flip method. I've got a feeling that could well be pretty fast. Oh yeah, I'm feeling that, as long as you don't hit that pylon on the way down. So coming out of there then, it is a flat out building dive. You just kind of want to straighten yourself out and really clip that, clip the top of that bit, this here. Get as close to that as you can. So over the top. You kind of rotate your way around, spot it. Whoa, okay, maybe don't hit it, but you want to get real close as you come down. And then I like to be quite low through here, not so low that we're hitting the floor, but obviously because you've got a gate here, I find being lower there means I'm doing less to kind of adjust all my altitude and everything like that. Nice little moves, spot that gate early on and just full blast your way through, full send. You will find that it's more difficult to see than the old gate, because the old gate was yellow, the big old, I think it was a Breitling gate, or possibly just a regular old DCL gate. Either way, it was a lot easier to see than the black HolyBro one, but you'll still be able to see it. It does kind of light up. Obviously, it isn't lit up now because we've been through it. But you can spot it, you can see there, actually, before we hit it, or before we even round the last pylon, you can see it here, you can kind of spot it there. So just look out for it, I think. It saves you having to sort of preempt anything if you can sort of spot it there and just adjust your line to get through. Yeah, it's a bit difficult, but again, one smooth, fluid movement and you're already kind of lined up quite nicely as you come through it for that next little bridge section. So we'll just try and do that. Going through here, I'm only rolling through these, to be honest. I'm not using too much yaw. And then off the throttle, on the throttle. And this is a real test of nerve, this tunnel section, because you're forever kind of like making your little micro adjustments. If you don't hit it just perfectly. But it's a great way to get yourself flying in very tight spaces, which is certainly, I'd say it's a big help, because we've seen quite a few of these recently where we've had quite tight spaces. I come off the throttle there and then smack back on. What that does is it gives me that immediate. I think are we moving to the side again? Please no. We are. What is this? Why does this happen every time? This is not cool. I'm gonna try and flatten it out in the controller. Okay, I think that's working. I swear, DCL hates my Tyrannus. Must know that I'm doing team guides. Was it the team guide last week? I think it was. Yeah, I think this seems to be working. I'm not fighting it, so that's fine. Okay, let's give this another go. So the flat sticks through here, and if I stay on the throttle, oh, try that again. If I stay on the throttle, you'll see the difference in terms of how in terms of how the quad reacts as we go through. You can see I end up coming through this part of the gate if I'm full throttle, whereas by just blipping off the throttle, you get that perfect, snappy spinala. For those of you who like F1 Formula 1 memes, yeah, it just feels more fluid if you just blip the throttle or blip off and blip back on. Ooh, where are we? Trying a bit of freestyle. I got stuck on the bridge. Yeah, it's very satisfying as well to really get that tight, and it helps as well, I find, lining up the next section to fly through, just because that muscle memory, and you'll know it a lot, especially if you've done a lot of freestyle flying, the muscle memory of just how much stick input you need to get yourself facing the opposite direction. You just have to learn that. It's not something that anyone can teach. There's no quick way to do it. It is really just learning your rates and getting a feel for how much you have to, how much stick input you need to literally turn yourself 180. But it's another really great spot to grind that out. If you're not confident in that kind of thing, just keep at it, over the top, time and time again, through here like I've just been doing. Anyway, before I bore you too much with that, you want to kind of pre-turn that. You don't have to do it too much. Avoid that lamppost. There's a few obstacles here. So you're coming out of here, you're pre-turning that in between the cone and the lamppost. Don't go the other side of the lamppost, you'll lose time. Tight as you can to that lamppost. Don't be afraid if you wash out over here. In fact, I think that's what I do most of the time. I'll come out of here. Oh dear, hiccups. I'll come out of here and I'll end up drifting wide through there, but I don't think there's an awful lot of time to be gained from doing that, and this lamppost here makes it very, very difficult to go on the line that the racing line tells you to do. So yeah, I normally come through here and then I'll go this. Oh, jeez, half throttle rather than full. I'm going through that side of the lamppost and then pre-turning that again, kind of blipping off the throttle a little, but not a huge amount there. Mainly because you want to keep some momentum in the direction you're going in order to push yourself over here. So as you're coming over the top, you're kind of punching it over and then coming off for the last bit of that flick. Let me try and explain. So you're on the throttle till about there, then you come off, then you're punching back on. Get it? Maybe? It's a tough one. You want to be still on the throttle as you're turning in order that because you're kind of doing like a sideways split S over that. So stay on the throttle for a little longer, and then it kind of lines you up nicely with that next gate. Wow, I'm talking about other bits so long I've forgotten the rest of the track. So yeah, this bit, diagonal. Let's try the rainbow flip method. How's that work? Ooh, nice. Unsighted. My version of the rainbow flip method, but kind of works. Wow, bummer. That car really put me off. Still flat sticks, and then stay on it a little longer, and into the finish gate. Finish gate again is a case of just spotting it early, like learning where it's going to be and really learning the perfect amount of stick to put in. I know that's probably really unhelpful, but I think most of you guys are probably confident enough on the controls now that we're kind of aware of what our rates are, right? So great, I'm gonna keep going. I'll try that rainbow flip, man. Brav. Oh, gorgeous. Come on. Let's go. I still feel like my controls aren't particularly great. I think they're pushing me off to the right-hand side now. It's like we're yawing to the right or something, I don't know. How strange. Gremlins. Now that wasn't a false start. Oh man, come on. Give me a 1 lap. Got this. Late, never mind. Oh, off the throttle too much there. Tradition. Ah! I'm telling you, if you've never tried flying with a controller that just wants to do its own thing, you should really give it a go. It's a real test of your flying ability. Sheesh. This is actually, for those of you that want to know, this is kind of why I haven't been streaming a lot, certainly recently, because I'm a bit freer from work now, but my setup is really acting up. So I'm kind of conscious that I just want to iron out some bugs first before we start dropping into stuff, especially like Velocidrone, which is super fast. Like, I feel like having a controller that just wants to send you off in random directions all the time is probably not super wise if we're trying to set good times in Velocidrone. Which I'm sure you'll understand. It may well result in me needing to buy another new controller if my gimbals are screwed. Which would suck. Whoa. What kind of angle was that? Crazy. Kind of pre-turn that last one a little bit, I guess. Bit wonky. Ah, you can see what I mean there about muscle memory for that finish gate. Ah, so close. A minute 90, 3 seconds off. Oh, we're only 5 seconds off of Propsicle, which is pretty cool. That's not a bad, terrible, awful time. Let's spectator mode. Personal best. We don't want preset. We want FPV, please. Restart. Go away, timing. No. This personal best? No, it's reset us. Oh man. DCL. This is so annoying. Okay, FPV, personal best. The time is gone. Play. Goodbye. And no need to pre-turn. Cut tight to those underneath the tree. No need for a real rainbow flip or anything over there. Just keep it nice and flat. As we come over here, close to the top, spotting the corners of the buildings. Whoa, nearly screwed it up. Coming from a bit of a weird angle there. Get down low to the cones, maybe a little bit high, but managed to make it work. There's the little tight reverse entry split S through that gate. Up to the top left through that tunnel, around the left-hand side of that lamppost. Carry the speed. Again, low, relatively tight to those under the tree. Flatten it out. Heading on up. Diagonal line, top right corner, spot in the top. Whoa, really unsighted. There's definitely work to be done here. Low through here second time though, that's nice. Pre-turn that a little, good. Nice and straight. Maybe we didn't pre-turn that quite as much as I'd have liked. We're kind of at a weird angle coming through here, up to the left. Head around to the right, the left-hand side of that cone. Carry the speed. Spot the gate. And in we go. So, yeah, a bit of a longer video this week, 20 minutes, sheesh. It is a long track, there's a lot to it. But, you know, I hope it was useful, I really do. Because this one, albeit we've seen this a few times before, I think it's even in the original time trials. I think it's an old track, but it's one that's maybe not had as much love as it could have done. It's an old one, it's a classic. But yeah, like, it's one of those traditional DCL tracks. It's big, it's flowy, not really. There's a couple of little technical bits, but they're not super finessed like the solos track. So it's a good fun track. It's nice to really grind out some times on. There's a lot to it. You're not going to get bored. So it should be a good fun one this week, and I hope you guys enjoy it. If you've got any questions, any queries, as usual, stick them down below. I promise. I know I'm having problems with my controls. I will try and stream very soon. I do miss it. I've actually got a green screen on the way as well for some other projects. So I'll probably look to utilize that, and we can try and make this whole thing like maybe a little bit more professional. Try and do some work. But look, anyway, enough of me mumbling and rambling on. Good luck with drafts. If you haven't already, check out the playlist. I'll leave a link below for our draft track playlist guide. Good luck with qualifications in the draft. Hopefully see you guys in the skies at the 24-hour draft selection process. Remember, no streaming unless DCL tells you to. All right. Anyway, with that being said, fly safe, fly fast, fly apex, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you around.